Well, Variety Magazine and TheGrill.com are reporting that MSNBC host Joy Reid's primetime show, The Readout, has been canceled. Now, this comes amid a shakeup at MSNBC. We know in January 2025, Rashida Jones, the president of MSNBC and first African-American woman to lead MSNBC, left, and now you have a new CEO. Now, this is not good because Joy Reid had one of the best shows on MSNBC. I watched it every night. I watch a lot of the shows on MSNBC. And she also had a lot more African-American experts, political analysts, guests, etc., than most of the other shows on MSNBC. Now, hopefully they can move her back to her weekend time slot, because remember, this is her third show on MSNBC. She had the Reid Report, which came on Monday through Friday, middays around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it was right after Ronan Farrell's show at 1 p.m. Then she moved to AM Joy on the weekends, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and that's after MSNBC kicked out Melissa Harris Perry. And now she is on The Readout, which started in 2020. She was the first black woman to host a primetime show on MSNBC as well. Now, when we look here at what's taking place at the network, Joy Reid's show being canceled at MSNBC came amid a dramatic overhaul launched by the network's new president, Rebecca Cutler. Sources familiar with the situation told the New York Times. Now, the NBCUniversal-backed cable network is expected to move the trio of Symone Sanders-Townsend, Alicia Menendez, and Michael Steele, their TV show, The Weekend, which comes on Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., MSNBC is expected to move that to Joy Reid's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time weekly time slot. Now, The Weekend is an excellent show as well, so hopefully it does good in this time slot. Now, the move will have direct implications for Joy Reid, the anchor who currently fills that slot. What's going to happen next is not clear. She has not been fired from the network as of yet. She may just become a contributor. She may get another show, another panel show as well. We'll have to see. Now, Rebecca Cutler's decision to cancel The Readout comes after former MSNBC president Rashida Jones stepped down from her position in January 2025 after serving in that role for 4 years. Rashida Jones said she would, quote, pursue new opportunities, end quote. Also, we know that for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, Rachel Maddow is back in her time slot of 9 p.m. and Monday through Friday, and there's some other shakeups taking place as well with the programming. Now, for those who will respond with the reflexive answer of build your own, and I was talking to people on my Facebook fan page today when I posted a story who says she should build her own network, etc. First of all, keep in mind, Joy Reid already has a podcast with fellow journalist Jackie Reid. It's called Read This, Read That. So they have a YouTube channel. But also, now, you have to understand, most of the people who say build your own never worked in media. I've worked in media for 15 years, okay? And I've worked for 3 radio stations, one as a sales rep, 2 as talent, 2 as a radio show host. So creating a black network, however, requires sustained funding and advertisers with money to spend on black-owned media, on a black network. And African Americans typically get shut out of that market. And most people have never heard the term no urban dictate. Now, if you work in media, and if you're African American, especially if you work in sales, you know about no urban dictate. I found out about this right around 1999. And no urban dictate is an unwritten rule by white corporations where they feel they don't have to buy ads in African-American owned media or African-American targeted media because they feel they're going to get enough African-Americans watching mainstream media, mainstream shows, and they don't, so they can spend the advertising dollars with those mainstream shows and not on African American owned media. So what we have to understand is that African Americans spend billions of dollars a year with these various corporations, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, what have you, Microsoft, etc. They then take the money that we spend with them and buy ads on these networks, MSNBC, CNN. So we're paying for those jobs. We're paying for those shows, and we should have careers, we should have jobs and shows on those networks because we paid for them. So the bottom line is we need both. We need to have African-American hosted shows on MSNBC and CNN, possibly News Nation as well, and we need to own African-American media. Okay, whether it's in the digital space like thegrio.com owned by Byron Allen, or whether it's Roland Martin Unfiltered. And I've been a regular panelist on Roland Martin Unfiltered every Friday going back to October 2020. Okay, so as always, like, share, and comment on this broadcast. Follow me on my Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and on Fanbase, which is black owned, at The African History Network, and on YouTube, Michael Imhotep, and Instagram, Michael Imhotep as well, IMHOTEP. Watch me Fridays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Roland Martin Unfiltered, where I provide historical and political analysis on the Black Star Network, and that's black owned and operated. And watch my show, The African History Network Show, Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my social media platforms. Be sure to register for my online history class, my 12-week online history class that starts up Saturday, March 1st, 2025, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. There's 80 to 100 articles that I cite. There's 200 slides in the class. It's a very visual class. And there are 15 books that we reference as well. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in the class. But we deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade. Whether we deal with empires like ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, Nubia, whether we deal with Ghana, Songhai, Mali, whether we deal with 1619 here in the U.S., the African influence on the U.S., the fact that the Washington Monument is an ancient African symbol called a Tekken, which comes from the story of Asar, Aset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus. There's so much you're going to learn in this class. It's PG-13. You can use this information with your children. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. Visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Register for this online history class. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa understand the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And you can also support us through Cash App, $, the AHN Show, through Cash App, and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. We have the information on the homepage of my website. You'll get 5 of my lectures in digital download format free, and download our lesson plan as well at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Right now, let's correct your own behaviors. Not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. Did you know that the Washington Monument is based upon an ancient African structure called a Tekken that comes from the mythology of Asar, Aset, and Heru, who the Greeks called Osiris, Isis, and Horus? Did you know that the panther deity Bast in the movie Black Panther and Wakanda Forever comes from an ancient African deity, a Neter, in ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, called Bastet? Did you know that there were 17 pyramids found buried underneath Egypt around 2011? Also, the city of Memphis, Tennessee. What's the relationship between Memphis, Tennessee, and Memphis in ancient Egypt? I'm historian and national political commentator Michael Imhotep. Be sure to register for my new 12-week online history course, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Kemet is one of the original names for Egypt. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Did you know that the word Wakanda is a real word? We find it in the Kikongo language, which is a Bantu language, but we also find it in the Omaha Ponca and Sioux Indian Native American languages. My class starts up Saturday, March 1st, 2025, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a 12-week online history course. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. When we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, we can't start our studying of the history in 1619 in Hampton, Virginia, or in Jamestown. We can't start in 1441 with the transatlantic slave trade starting with the Portuguese. We have to deal with thousands of years of history that leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We'll deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors, who take the teachings from the Nile Valley region of Africa into Europe, and this is what brings Europe out of the Dark Ages. We'll talk about ancient African empires, whether we deal with ancient Nubia, whether we deal with Kush, Kemet, Mali, Songhai, Ghana. This is a 12-week online history course. We deal with 80 to 100 articles. There are 200 slides that I show you in the class. There are video clips. There are 15 books that we reference. You don't have to buy any of the books to follow along in class. It's a very visual class, so we show you all that information right on the screen. The class is PG-13 as well, so you can use this with your children. Download my lesson plan from my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Register right now. Right now is correct strong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll see you in class. Peace.
Is your child struggling with reading, writing, learning loss, and a culturally irrelevant curriculum? Do you want your child to be outstanding at reading and writing and also take pride in their culture? Then you want Reading Revolution Online. Reading Revolution Online is a web-based reading support program. We serve scholars in grades K through 8, and through our innovative approach, we help them build reading confidence and cultural identity development, equipping them for success in school and life. They learn about Black heroes and sheroes through captioned videos, reading selections, and other activities. Reading Revolution Online is an experience for the whole family. Do it for the